Hello and welcome. You're watching This is Exclusive with me, Shavan said. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we focus on three stories coming in from Uttarakhand and also the big story coming in from the national capital. And of course, we also take you through what's really happening in Pakistan. Starting with that big story of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, Uttarakhand will soon is going to be registering a historic moment by passing the UCC Bill. Now, the bill explicitly bans polygamy in the state and lists 5 conditions for the solemnization of marriages. Not just this, there are several other salient features as far as this bill is concerned. In fact, Republic TV is the first network to access the complete UCC draft bill, which also seeks to regulate the laws that have been related to marriage, divorce, successions, living in relationships, matters that are related to it. Now, the draft bill that was today tabled in the Uttarakhand Assembly makes it obligatory for partners of a living in relationship within the state, whether they are residents of Uttarakhand or not, to submit a statement of their relationship to the registrar within whose jurisdiction they are living in a prescribed manner. Now, once it becomes an act, Uttarakhand will become the first state in the country after independence to adopt the UCC. In this report, we take you through all that has taken place within the Assembly, the voices that are against UCC, but at the same time, remember, with Uttarakhand already tabling this bill, we've already heard what Rajasthan and Assam essentially intend to do. First, take a look at this detailed report where we try and help you understand what's this draft bill all about, what does it really cover.
The draft bill of the Uniform Civil Code has finally made its way to the Uttarakhand Assembly today.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं आपकी अनुज्ञा से समान नागरिक संहिता उत्तराखंड विधेयक 2024 को प्रस्तावित करने हेतु सदन की अनुज्ञा चाहता हूं.
Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, who has been at the forefront of this move, proposed the UCC draft bill in the House.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं आपकी अनुज्ञा से समान नागरिक संहिता उत्तराखंड विधेयक 2024 को प्रस्तावित करता हूं.
A government-appointed panel drafted the 192-page report. Some of the proposals in the UCC include a complete ban on polygamy and child marriage, a standardized marriageable age for girls across all faiths, and a uniform process for divorce.
The discussion on Uniform Civil Code is on inside the Uttarakhand Assembly. Pushkar Singh Dhami was handed over with the final draft of the Uniform Civil Code on February 2nd. The final draft has been divided into 4 sections that deal with marriage, live-in relationships, divorce, succession, inheritance, amongst others. If we talk about the rules of marriage, the registration of marriage and divorce has been made imperative. If one person defaults, they are liable to a certain penalty. If we talk about what has been banned under the UCC, practices like child marriage, polygamy, halala, iddat have been banned under the UCC. If we talk about inheritance, 50-50% to both boy and the girl child, including illegitimate children and adopted children, has been awarded under the UCC. If we talk about live-in marriages, it has been clearly mentioned in the UCC that the couple needs to register their marriage with the said authorities. If not, that will be penalized. That will also help in the rights of an offspring that comes out of that particular relationship, the live-in relationship. So these are the rules, the new rules that will come under the UCC as and when implemented.
The UCC draft encompasses various facets of civil life, with recommendations extending to inheritance right, mandatory marriage registration, and an increased marriageable age for girls, facilitating their pursuit of education before marriage. Once the proposed UCC is in place, live-in relationships will also have to be registered under the law. The bill, which is split into 4 parts, proposes uniform civil laws for all communities in the state of Uttarakhand. The opposition, meanwhile, is adamant on not accepting the proposal.
UCC का को प्रस्तुतिकरण का प्रश्न है, हमने कहा उसको प्रस्तुत कीजिए, लेकिन चर्चा के लिए हमें अगले दिन नियत कर दीजिए। इतना समय होना चाहिए माननीय विधायकों के पास जिससे कि उसका हम अध्ययन कर सकें, परीक्षण कर सकें, क्या बिंदुवार हम उसमें देख सकें, क्या खामियां हैं, क्या उसमें कमियां हैं। लेकिन सरकार समय देने से इनकार कर रही है, कतरा रही है और आज ही प्रस्तुतिकरण करना चाहती है, आज ही वह पारित कराना चाहती है।
समान नागरिक आचार संहिता उत्तराखंड सरकार ने लाने का फैसला किया है जो आज पेश हुआ। मैं इसका हृदय से स्वागत करता हूँ, पूरा देश इसका स्वागत करेगा और मुस्लिम महिलाओं को 10 करोड़ जिनकी आबादी है उन्हें गरिमामय पूर्ण जीवन व्यतीत करने का सौभाग्य प्राप्त होगा।
कि आप उसको उसी विधि विधान नियमावली से संचालित करेंगे जिससे सामान्य तौर पर विधानसभा का सत्र संचालित होता है। प्रश्नकाल होगा, लोक महत्व के प्रश्न उठेंगे और फिर विधेयक इत्यादि जो आने हैं वो आएंगे। मगर यहाँ कहा जा रहा नहीं, कुछ नहीं करना है, केवल ये ड्राफ्ट पेश होगा, इसका पालन करना है।
देखिए, जब संविधान निर्माण हो रहा था तब संविधान निर्माताओं ने भी कहा था कि देश के अंदर समान नागरिक आचार संहिता लागू नहीं चाहिए। लेकिन दुर्भाग्य से जो लोग सत्ता में रहे, ज़्यादा जिन्होंने सत्तासीन रहे, वो लोग सिर्फ और सिर्फ तुष्टीकरण के कारण और जातीय राजनीति के कारण वो इसे लागू नहीं कर पाए। हमारा प्रदेश सौभाग्यशाली है, हम लोग सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि पहला प्रदेश ये बनने जा रहा है देश का जो इसे लागू करेगा।
By ensuring the passage of a legislation on the UCC in Uttarakhand Assembly, the BJP will have fulfilled one of its crucial promises. And with BJP in majority, the UCC bill is not far from being a reality. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Let me also go across to my colleague Madhurima, who's accessed the draft bill. She's joining us from outside Vidhan Bhavan in Dehradun. A quick response from you, Madhurima. We've seen a massive uproar over the provisions that have been brought in with regards to the living-in relationship where they have to basically register themselves. Has the government essentially put out some sort of a clarification? What do they essentially mean on this? Or what's the response really coming in from the government at this stage?
Well, Shravan, when we speak about the live-in relationships, the government, I speak to the Parliamentary Affairs Minister of the Uttarakhand Assembly. He very categorically said that this point where registering of live-in relationships is concerned, it is to legitimize the live-in relationship as it would also uplift the moral question that is put generally across, across the country and specifically in the state. When he was talking about it, that would also legitimize that. And moreover, the point of contention of the Uttarakhand government is about if at all there is an offspring in the matter, and what if the couple splits, who's going to take care of the child, what about the fundamental relations of the fundamental rights of the child. Also at the same time, how if they register that particular relationship, they will be aided if at all if there's a break in the relationship or if the matter goes to the court. So there will be rules for that as well. So this is the idea behind registering the live-in relationship as per the proposal of the UCC is concerned. Shravan.
Well, thank you very much, Madhurima, for getting us the latest details. A story that we'll be tracking very closely, as we've also seen there have been political ramification on what's really happened in Uttarakhand, with Rajasthan and Assam also stepping in. But you've had the opposition parties essentially saying that this is a country which is diverse and perhaps bringing in UCC may not be appropriate. Now, that's a political posturing that has been done. Should we focus now to some breaking news now coming in with regards to the announcement that has been made about a white paper on economic mismanagement of UPA years in the parliament that's going to take place. The white paper is going to be tabled on the last day of the budget session. In fact, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced that white paper would be presented during the budget speech. In fact, the Prime Minister essentially indicated that the first term of this government largely went in plugging in the holes, the loopholes, and more importantly, right now, the focus essentially of this government is to bring in what they're calling Viksit Bharat. Remember, this led to a massive sort of a political war of words, with Finance Minister now essentially indicating the mismanagement of the UPA government would be tabled in the Parliament. Let me quickly go across to our senior executive editor. Abhishek Kapoor is getting us the latest details. Abhishek, in terms of financial misappropriation and the very fact that the kind of loopholes that we have seen in various schemes that were brought in by the UPA, the leakages that have taken place has essentially resulted in a situation where there has been a complete logjam. What is it that the government really intends to do by bringing in this white paper?
Well, Shravan, remember Prime Minister back in 2014 when he took over the chair, thought of bringing this at that time but decided not to, because he said that let me focus on getting India out of the morass that it is in. Let me focus on not getting bad name for India and work on making things better, and then I'll talk about it. And so now at the end of second term of the Modi government, when you can compare 10 years of UPA 1-2 with the 10 years of the Modi government, the government decided, and the finance minister announced during her interim budget speech that there is a plan to bring in a white paper, and now we are told that the parliament session might get extended by a day for tabling and discussion of the white paper, essentially the economic mismanagement, not just mismanagement per se. For example, the balance sheet crisis of the public sector, that the banking sector that the government inherited, or the stone banking which was prevalent during the UPA years, which led to the ballooning of non-performing assets, essentially which meant that somebody from the government would, at the top, would call the banks and ask them to oblige their clients in the corporate space. Now, this is the same Congress government which slams the Modi government on the Adani-Ambani connection, but when they were in power, letting these corporates make merry, and we have seen the cascading scams, the mop-up of which took about first half of the first term, and then of course the Modi government tackled the twin balance sheet crisis and got the banks out of it, and now they seem to be in the pink of health. Similarly, on the corruption, the kind of scams that took place from the 2G to Commonwealth and other scams that rocked particularly the UPA 2 years. So I think I suspect that the white paper is going to be a mix of the economic mismanagement, the phone banking, corruption, and the scams, and essentially what impact it had on India's economy, and what was inherited by the Modi government and how they have turned it around. So an interesting debate possible in Parliament on the last day when the Modi government brings the white paper promised during the interim budget speech by the finance minister.
Thank you very much, Abhishek, for getting us the latest details. Shift the focus now to the other story that we're getting to you tonight on This Is Exclusive, with the big arrest that has been made by Delhi police. Ladies and gentlemen, the Delhi police have arrested Riaz Ahmed, a retired army soldier, on charges of being an alleged member of Lashkar-e-Toiba from the New Delhi railway station. Now, we've got exclusive details of the terrorist and the modus operandi. Sources tell Republic that Riaz Ahmed played an active role in the conspiracy alongside two other individuals, namely Khurshid Ahmed and Ghulam Sarwar. Not just this, Lashkar terrorist Riaz Ahmed was in touch with Pakistan-occupied Kashmir-based operatives since 2019. He was a key conspirator in the procurement of weapons from POK. Riaz's phone has also been seized and will be handed over to Jammu and Kashmir Police for analysis. In fact, we've also spoken to the DCP of Delhi Police, who's given us more details of this operation that has been carried out. A big arrest that was made earlier in the day in the national capital. We'll try and go across to my colleague Akhil, who's spoken to the DCP. We'll play out that interview in a short while from now, and also take you through some of the details of the modus operandi. From when was he in the national capital? Was this part of a larger plan? For all this and much more, let me just quickly bring in my colleague Akhil, who's joining us on this broadcast. Akhil, you've spoken to the DCP. We'll play out that interview in a short while from now. Take us through the details that you're picking up. One, in terms of when did he really come to the national capital? Was this his first visit, or was there a reconnaissance that was done in the past? And what was the larger target?
Well, absolutely, Shravan. We spoke to the DCP of Railway, and he, in an exclusive interview to Republic TV, has said that that the accused has boarded a train from Jabalpur, Mahakoshal Express, around 6:10 p.m. on February 3rd, and then he reached on January 4th at Nizamuddin railway station, and from there around 11 a.m. and from there he took an auto and then went to New Delhi railway station, and he has planned to go from New Delhi railway station to Jammu and Kashmir, and there he was planning to do some service activities over there. But what we know so far in this case, that right now the investigation is going on. The official has said that he was planning something of a different kind of order, but the police official team has recovered and seized his phone now, as of now. And while he was traveling from Jabalpur to Delhi, along with him was one of his friends who has been identified as Altaf. Right now he has been sent on transit remand. Riaz Ahmed has been sent on transit remand, and the Jammu and Kashmir team will be questioning him in this matter. The investigation is currently going on, Shravan, right now.
Well, thank you very much, Akhil, for getting us the latest details. We're getting into some more details of the arrest that has been made by the Delhi police. Let's also take you through this other breaking news now coming in with regards to the arrest of a Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist. The arrested accused Riaz found to be the main conspirator in getting the arms and ammunition from across the line of control. Riaz, in fact, used to dispose of the consignment of weapons coming in from across LOC at some safe location in the valley. The two associates with whom Riaz Ahmed used to import the weapons from across the border have already been arrested. According to Delhi police, Riaz Ahmed was wanted from Kupwara district after appearing in the court. Now, Riaz Ahmed has been handed over to Jammu and Kashmir police. In fact, Kashmir police will be interrogating him regarding the old terrorist conspiracy and the supply of weapons coming from across the border. Getting us this details with regards to how exactly the weapons were being procured. Joining me right now on this broadcast is my colleague Simran. Simran, you've spoken to your sources within the Delhi police. Now, there is another angle that is emerging. So in terms of weapons procurement, Riaz has played a pivotal role. What more details are you picking up from your sources within Delhi police in terms of how did the consignment really come in? For how long was the weapon procurement really taking place?
Well, if we have to believe the situation and the information that is provided to us at this given point of time, it is important to understand that Delhi police has been also wanting to nab this accused on a larger level from the Delhi NCR region for a long time. He, in fact, was a wanted terrorist in the Kupwara module of Jammu and Kashmir. This accused that has been recently arrested is the sixth accused, which has been primarily responsible for carrying out the logistics and the transportation, and also the transportation of the arms and ammunition that happened across the border from the POK. He was allegedly in touch with the POK handlers from across the border, and from this given point of time, we understand that five arrests have already taken place in the past in regards with the terrorist module that had been going on in the valley. Riyadh specifically is responsible for carrying out the logistics and also transporting these incriminating material, the arms and ammunition, from the POK in collusion with the handlers there to carry out the terrorist activities and also to disturb the peace in the valley while also trying to hide them at a safe location so that the Kashmir police could not get their hands on these incriminating material. In fact, the Delhi police has also found 5 AK rifles and also some magazines and several other incriminating materials with the arrest. Now, the transit remand of this latest arrest in this NET module has been given to the Kashmir police. Kashmir police is now going to interrogate this sixth accused in regards with how the consignment from across the border and through which ways it was being procured and diverted towards the state of Valley. Back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Simran, for getting us the latest details. Remember, this is a story that is expected to only develop. Keep Keeping in mind, Kashmir police has also now stepped in. Shift to focus now, ladies and gentlemen. In just about 2 days from now, Pakistan will be going to polls. And all of this will be happening amidst sky-high inflation, multitude of economic, political crisis, terror attacks that have taken place in Pakistan, and it's at its peak. Now, heading into the election, Pakistan's economy is in complete doldrums and is likely the single most pressing issue for voters. Inflation is nearing the 30% mark, and over the past 2 years, Pakistan's currency has shed nearly 50% of its value compared to the US dollar. However, turning a blind eye to all of this, Pakistan is going to vote. Talking about the frontrunners, Imran Khan is out of the race as he is languishing in the jail. His party has been scattered, stripped off of the election symbol, but workers of the PTI are contesting polls as independent candidates. Now, in this scenario, Nawaz Sharif, the former Pakistan Prime Minister, has emerged as the favorite candidate. In fact, perhaps the favorite candidate for the ISI as well as the army. Now, his party, PMLN, is favored to get the majority seats from populist province of Punjab, ultimately tipped as the favorite party to make the government in Punjab as well as in the other parts. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, the establishment seems fully backing Nawaz Sharif. But one wonders if the new Pakistan Prime Minister breaks the military's stranglehold, or will it continue to be a puppet of the military establishment? Take a look at this report.
After months of delay, Pakistan general elections are set to be held on the 8th of February. The country has been in the eye of a political and economic storm over the year. And one still wonders if balloting can bring any real change in the country. Nawaz Sharif has emerged as a favorite Prime Minister face.
असल यूं तो ये जो मेरे सामने खड़ी है, ये है असली कौम. इंशाअल्लाह आपके कंधे से कंधा मिला के मुस्लिम लीग नून पाकिस्तान को दोबारा तामीर करेगी. हमारा साथ दोगे ना?
The youngest hopeful for the Prime Minister chair is Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Pakistan People Party chief and son of assassinated former Premier Benazir Bhutto.
अपना वोट के जरिए ये ताकत दिलवा देते हैं कि कराची के 20 सीटें पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी को दिलवा दे. तो इंशाअल्लाह ताला मैं आपको दिखाता हूं कि हम कैसे 5 साल के अंदर ही अंदर कराची का पूरा नक्शा बदल देंगे.
Even as Imran Khan is languishing in jail, his party has been stripped of an election symbol. Left with no option, PTI workers are contesting polls as independent candidates. On the other hand, terrorists are calling the shots, especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. 10 policemen were killed in a terrorist attack at a police station in DI Khan on Monday. Pakistan's top cities, Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar and Islamabad, are on terrorist hot list. Can the new Pakistan PM break the military stranglehold? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Viewers, getting some breaking updates coming in right now. What you will see on your screen is Republic accessing a video from Chandigarh mayor elections where the presiding officer can be very clearly seen counting the votes polled for mayor. It can be seen there that the presiding officer counted all 36 votes. The same video was produced before the Supreme Court, following which the presiding officer was pulled up. So this is a big row over Chandigarh mayor polls. We have accessed the video of Chandigarh mayor polls there. Now, in this video, you can see very clearly that the counting of votes is on. This is the counting the votes polled for mayor. It can be seen that the presiding officer counted all 36 votes. Now, this same video, which you see right before you, was produced before the Supreme Court, following which the presiding officer was pulled up. So remember that we're getting these details coming in right now. In fact, the Supreme Court had gone ahead and directed the Deputy Commissioner Chandigarh to submit the entire record pertaining to the selection of the mayor of Chandigarh. Now, in fact, let's go to my colleague Amandeep, who's joining us right now. Amandeep, now what we see right now is the court also has observed that the returning officer had defaced the ballot papers. And this entire issue has become huge and controversial. If you could take our viewers through what our viewers are watching on their screen and why has this kicked up a huge row. Amandeep.
Well, absolutely, Shivangi. Now this entire issue is getting more paradoxical just because the Supreme Court has directed all the officials of Chandigarh administration as well as MC that not to hold any of the meeting after having their new mayor. That means the entire system has been kept on hold. And on the other side, when Aam Aadmi Party councillors have submitted these videos, Supreme Court has clearly observed that this is a murder of the democracy, this is a mockery of the democracy, and presiding officer should be prosecuted. And even in the middle of that, when we accessed that video, it was clearly visible that how presiding officer was counting the ballot papers after all the councillors, all 35 councillors and one member of parliament has casted their vote on 30th of January. And even he was counting the ballot papers to check the validity of the papers. And he was signing the ballot papers to approve the validity or invalidity of that ballot papers. And these videos have been submitted to the Supreme Court with the allegation that presiding officers has deliberately defaced the ballot papers and in fact made 8 Aam Aadmi Party as well as Congress councillors made invalid, and resulting that BJP got their mayor. So these are the allegations, and in fact the Supreme Court has pulled up and in fact he said that it was a very strong observation that, by the Supreme Court, that presiding officers should be prosecuted in this entire. And meanwhile, Shivangi, Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, they both are hitting out on the roads and in fact demanding that presiding officers should be arrested immediately and the sedition case should be registered against him. And even the entire process, Shivangi, of mayor polls has been recorded in the cameras after the directions of Punjab and Haryana High Court. There were multiple cameras that has been installed in the MC house where these polls has been taken place, and this is one of the camera which was quite close to the presiding officer, in which it is clearly visible that how presiding officer was counting the ballot papers, how he was checking the validity of the votes, how he was signing the ballot papers as well. Though on the other side, which was not visible, that protest was happening by protest was staged by Aam Aadmi Party and Congress councillors and raising the questions over the presiding officer as well. So this process has been completely recorded in the cameras, and these videos has been submitted to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has taken a very strong observation against these videos and asked that observed that presiding officers should be prosecuted. Now let's wait and watch, Shivangi, that whether the Supreme Court is going to make the invalid votes valid, whether the Supreme Court is going to consider the allegations of Aam Aadmi Party and Congress councillors that the presiding officer has defaced the ballot papers, or Supreme Court direct the officials to reconduct the entire election process of the mayors just because everything is now on the standstill. MC House meet has been completely on the standstill as per the directions of Supreme Court. So somewhere down the line, this entire process is quite complicated now. No one knows what is going to happen next. Yes, Shivangi.
All right, thank you for getting us all the details coming in right now. Amandeep getting us top updates as we see that Republic has accessed the video from Chandigarh mayor elections where the presiding officer can be seen counting the votes polled for the mayor. Let's go ahead, viewers, to this report. Aam Aadmi Party has also held a candle march in Chandigarh demanding case against a presiding officer. Let's take a look at this report filed by my colleague Amandeep from earlier today. Amandeep has been on the ground getting us top updates.
After Congress, now Aam Aadmi Party is hitting out on the roads against the BJP regarding the Chandigarh mayor polls and demanding a case, sedition case against the presiding officer and arrest of presiding officer. So here you can see they are rolling out the candle march on the roads with the demand, and in fact the flags and the candles and even the black putties on their faces is the symbol of the protest, just because earlier in the morning Chandigarh Youth Congress have staged the protest, and by the evening Aam Aadmi Party workers, including councillors and supporters, they all are hitting out on the road demanding the arrest of presiding officer for manipulating the ballot papers, for making the ballot papers fraudulently invalid. So here you can see that they are all out on the road having flags in their hands, candle in their hands, and in fact the black putty on their faces to indicate the symbol of the protest also. So they are hitting out on the march. This is the candle march of Aam Aadmi Party. They all are councillors, supporters, leaders of Aam Aadmi Party from Chandigarh, and even they are saying that these protests will remain continued till the time presiding officer should not get arrested. And even Supreme Court yesterday pulled up the presiding officer, giving the observation that this was the mockery of the democracy and presiding officer should be prosecuted. And you can see, then we will try to speak to these leaders also. So sir, your demand is quite clear to prosecute, to register a case against presiding officer. This is your demand.
Supreme Court has also said that this presiding officer should be prosecuted. And we are demanding this from 31st. And one thing is very clear. The person who has done the murder of the democracy, who has done the mockery of the democracy, should be given difficult punishment. Not only to him, but all the people who are involved in it. And nobody should be left. Whatever they have done, this is shameful for whole country. This is shameful for democracy of India.
You will continue your protest the way you are doing it right now?
Definitely. We are not going to leave any stone unturned until Anil Masih is behind the bars.
You can see they are quite aggressive. They are quite in the very aggressive mode and hitting out on the roads with the demand to arrest Anil Masih, who was the presiding officer of Chandigarh mayor polls. And in fact, they say their protest will remain continue till the time presiding officer will not get arrested. So this is how the Chandigarh mayor polls are in the mid of the controversy, and presiding officer is the mid in this entire political controversies. And in fact, the Supreme Court has also pulled up, and Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are continuously demanding to arrest the presiding officer and charge him with the sedition sections.